and welcome to today's video and welcome to another WWE reaction. Today's video is recommended by Johnny Drip 82 and he said new people watching wrestling for the first time probably was confused about the world's stiffest. It sounds sexual, I know. Lol, but it means hard hitters putting more force and intensity behind a move. And I know this comment is not recommending anything about the stiffest moment because I already have reacted to the stiffest moments, like top 10 stiffest moments ever in WWE. If you want to check out that video, it will be here. So this could be like called part 2 of the stiffest moments because there is plenty more that I haven't seen. And this is the type of video where my face is all cringe. All right, like you watch this and my facial expression is like, I don't want to be here. Why am I watching this? But like, let's be honest, it's very entertaining. At least the part where everybody's getting destroyed. This video is by Wrestling Royale and it is called Stiffest Moments in WWE History. So let's go and react to it, shall we?
Wrestlers are asked to pretend hit each other while making it look like it really hurt.
Yeah.
Sometimes the easiest way to achieve this is to hit each other and make it actually hurt. Sometimes it's easiest to try to take your opponent's head off. From punishments and receipts to two bull-headed wrestlers not backing down, here are the stiffest moments in WWE history. Starting... I
mean, that is so true. Like, if it's not that painful and you will recover, isn't it easier to just go through the pain and make it really believable and make the performance epic, or just have to pretend, you know? I do understand, like, there are moments where you have to pretend or else you can get really seriously injured and die, but there are moments where you like get a scratch or two, and I feel like with the scratch or two, like, yeah, you can go through that. At least like that's what your profession is about, right? I mean, not getting destroyed, but you know what I mean.
With Spike Dudley's entire career.
Oh, my God!
We'll talk about wrestlers who were notoriously stiff or took liberties with their opponents, but what about a wrestler who took liberties with himself? Enter Spike Dudley, the
He's like,
bumping
destroy
machine.
me, why don't
Every
you?
single bump poor Spike Dudley ever took looked like it came close to killing the man. From making wrestlers look great like in Brock Lesnar's infamous debut, to taking everyday moves like he'd been fired out of a cannon, every single move Spike Dudley took looked brutal. We could really make an entire video just of brutal Spike Dudley bumps, but until we do, please enjoy this short section of Spike risking it all for the average match.
Oh my God! Guys, that table didn't break, okay? And he hit literally the edge of it. That's so painful. How is he not dead?
Bradshaw / JBL's clothesline from hell.
Oh, look out, look out!
Whoa.
There's just no easy way to take this move. Notoriously stiff worker Bradshaw had one of the hardest hitting moves in all of wrestling. It was a running clothesline, the same move many wrestlers have used as a transitional move in everyday matches. Not JBL though. After picking up steam running into the ropes, JBL would hit a clothesline so hard it would often completely slam his opponents into the mat, or even cause them to fold over onto themselves. While Billy Gunn and Rikishi would oversell this move, someone like Jeff Hardy or Shannon Moore looked like they had been slaughtered after Taker.
Oh my God! What the hell is going on? Where are these matches today? All of these pixelated matches look like they are so much more aggressive. Wow.
Daniel Puder gets chopped into another dimension, Royal Rumble 2005.
By the way,
after almost legitimately breaking Kurt Angle's arm, or at the very least embarrassing him on live TV and forcing him to tap out, legitimate MMA fighter Daniel Puder thought he was making the most of his opportunity. The WWE office and wrestlers both thought it was time for Puder to prove how tough he was, both physically and mentally. The physical part came during the 2005 Royal Rumble match. After Puder entered, he spent the duration of his time in the match getting chopped into to oblivion by Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit. Then Hardcore Holly entered, who was there strictly to chop Pewter some more before he himself was rapidly eliminated. Pewter was then forced to mentally suffer, being sent down to developmental and never being called back up to the main.
Mentally? What happened to him?
Main roster.
Another man. Well, it is every man.
Oh.
Vader and Shamrock scrap for real in your house 1997.
Well, the barriers have no play.
What happens when you put one of the stiffest workers of all time against the first superstar to transfer from UFC to the WWE? Quite a few brutally stiff shots, as it turns out. Shamrock was still adjusting to coming back to pro wrestling after spending years in MMA. He hit Vader with some serious shots that wound up breaking the Mastodon's nose in 4 places. After a match full of the two tough guys smacking each other around, Vader put an exclamation point on it with a stiff lariat that almost knocked the UFC legend unconscious. Drew McIntyre versus Gunther versus Sheamus, WrestleMania 39.
Oh, you hear me?
Wow. None of these 3 big, meaty men will ever be able to compete with the likes of Ricochet, Rey Mysterio, or AJ Styles when it comes to high-flying acrobatics. Where they absolutely dominate the aforementioned superstars is their ability to dish out and receive stiff shots. The trio knew this was their chance at standing out during WrestleMania weekend, and boy oh boy did they not disappoint.
So much bigger
Just
today.
the part where Drew and Gunther are chopping each other back and forth in the middle of the ring could have made this list alone. But Sheamus wasn't left out either. Just the redness on his chest by the end of the match shows how hard
But also it doesn't help the fact that he's Ginger Boy. Like, you see the redness so much more.
Hitting each other.
Oh, goodness!
Oh, my God.
Oh, that's it!
Braun Strowman versus Jobbers.
No doubt about that. It's 300 plus pounds.
When Braun Strowman first separated from the Wyatt family, they spent several months building him up as an unstoppable monster. Many jobbers were used, abused, and disposed of by the monster of all monsters during this time. Sometimes 2 to 3 jobbers were used all at once. They never even looked like they stood a chance, getting launched across the ring, launched outside of the ring, and launched into each other in the brutal but short matches. The most famous of these jobbers is James Ellsworth, who looked so pathetic next to Strowman that he actually got a WWE run out of it. Braun Strowman was a bowling ball to these poor jobber pins.
How big Strowman is! Oh my God!
Brock Lesnar versus everyone with German suplexes.
Lesnar German suplex and drop Cena right on the back of his head.
When Brock Lesnar made his long-awaited return to WWE in 2012, his appearances were few and far between. After a few years, he was seen much more frequently, and what also increased was the amount of German suplexes he dished out. The difference between Brock's Germans and the German suplexes of former star Chris Benoit is you can see Benoit would hold on to his opponent and guide them safely to land on the flat of their back. Brock takes a different approach. He grabs his opponents and tries to throw them as far away from himself as he can. This always looks brutal, always looks risky, and even led to Alberto Del Rio breaking a rib back at the Royal Rumble 2016. Rather than land safely on their back, there are many instances of their opponent landing directly on their head and their neck.
That's terrible. No. Okay.
Farouk's Spinebuster.
We saw it on the Shotgun Saturday night.
We featured one member of the APA earlier in this video. Now it's time to talk about the other. Farouk had a reputation as being one of the toughest men in his generation of wrestlers. A real-life athlete that was known not to put up with nonsense, Farouk's signature spinebuster was brutal for all the right reasons. He got height lifting his opponent up, and there was always an element of throwing caution to the wind. It was as if executing the move safely wasn't nearly as important as smashing his opponent through the ring. Shout out to his finishing move, the Dominator, which also threw caution to the wind. And let's never forget the stiff clothesline he gave to Chuck Palumbo in 2001 after Chuck smacked the back of his head. This is not a man to be messed with, and his spinebuster proved that every week.
The place right
Hardcore Holly's entire life.
I want to see you fire up out there.
Oh!
In a locker room of late 1990s alpha males, you don't earn the nickname hardcore without living and breathing it. Perennial mid-carder Bob Holly became Hardcore Holly in 1999 when he started pursuing Al Snow's title. But for Holly, it was more than known for being a backstage bully and a general grump. Holly was the guy that Vince would put in the ring with new wrestlers to see if they could take it. As seen in the Daniel Puder section, he chopped his opponent's chests off. This was commonplace in most Bob Holly matches. Also, his finisher, the Alabama Slam, is about as brutal as they get, just smashing his opponents into the ring. And let's not forget his on-screen beating of Matt Capitelli that left poor Matt with a bruised and swollen face. 1990s Steiner Brothers.
Keep your eye on the bouncing ball!
Did he say 1890s? I just want to go back one more time because it's 1990s.
Swollen face. 1990s Steiner Brothers.
Brother, what do you mean 1890s? That would be like a century ago. I don't think cameras and TVs existed back then. I'm not sure though. Should we Google that?
Keep your eye on the bouncing ball! Oh!
Every now and then, there's a tag team that makes me think, thank God they weren't bouncers when I was too drunk one night. The APA is an easy example. More recently, the Authors of Pain come to mind. But the original You Don't Want to Mess With Them team has to be the Steiner Brothers. Legitimate athletes combined with legitimate steroid abuse created potentially the scariest duo in wrestling history. Every move they connected with looked like it ended their opponents' lives, and this wasn't specific to their WWF days either. Just take a look at Rick Steiner hitting a jobber named Marlowe with a German suplex. It puts Brock Lesnar to shame. The legacy of Chris Benoit.
Benoit's hanging on.
Chris Benoit.
Newer fans may wonder why there's a legend behind Chris Benoit's name. He had the horrible tragedy with his family, but what about before that? Was he an incredible character? No, he was barely even a good character. Was he sharp on the mic like Austin and The Rock? No, he wasn't a very good promo. So why is Benoit's name remembered so fondly by wrestling fans? People say it's because he was a great in-ring worker, and that is certainly true. But what really stands out in my mind is how crisp, stiff, and deliberate all of Benoit's moves were. Whether it was a knife-edge chop like we described earlier, or just slamming his opponent into the mat, everything Benoit did looked like it hurt because it probably did. That concludes our list.
Actually, before we continue, I did make a video about Chris Benoit because I said something last time that people really kind of like were criticizing because I came up as a hater kind of with my comment, but I didn't mean it that way. And I did make a follow-up video where I read the comments and I put the thing straight and also apologized for what I said because at that point I didn't know what I know now. And I'm probably gonna be uploading that video. I'm still thinking, should I upload it or not? Because I don't know if people would be interested in seeing that because it has been a while now, but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, that is it. That was such an awesome video.
In WWE history, which ones did we miss? Let us know.
I have no idea which one did you miss, but maybe my community does know. So I would like to know if there are other stiffest moments in WWE history that you think I should check out. Leave a comment down below. As I said, this video is gonna have a lot of cringe faces, but if you enjoy that, make sure to leave a like. Because I don't want to start feeling self-conscious about the way my face looks like when I'm in so much pain, or not actual pain, but like seeing other people being in pain. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day and see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Also, check out my Patreon, patreon.com/supportbuddy for more WWE content. See you. Bye.